I want to start today with a number that genuinely stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, yeah.
I was digging through the latest social media reports for 2025, and this statistic just jumped off the page. 71%.
Wow.
Yeah. 71% of the images we are seeing on social platforms are now apparently AI generated.
That is a staggering figure. It forces you to pause, doesn't it?
It does. It fundamentally changes how you experience being online. I mean, think about your morning scroll. You're drinking your coffee, you open an app, and you see this picture of, I don't know, a golden retriever doing something adorable, or maybe a stunning shot of a snow leopard.
Sure.
A few years ago, you'd just smile, double tap, and move on. Now, you have to ask yourself, am I looking at a living, breathing creature, or am I just looking at a calculation?
And that hesitation is the central tension of this whole thing. We're calling this the digital zoo.
The digital zoo. I
Yeah.
like that.
Because on one side, you have this explosion
Mm-hmm.
of fake animals, hyper-realistic deepfakes that are just blurring all the lines. But on the other side, and this is just as fascinating, AI is completely changing how we interact with real animals.
Right. It's not just about fake pictures. This
Yeah.
tech is revolutionizing veterinary care. It's decoding pet behavior, and even claiming it can translate what our cats are feeling.
Exactly. It's like a two-track evolution.
Right.
One track is helping us understand the biology of the animals we actually live with and love.
And the other track is slowly replacing them on our screens.
You got it.
So, to navigate this digital zoo, we've pulled together a pretty diverse stack of research today. We've got market reports from Talents on the pet care industry. We have some really heavy-hitting academic papers on computer graphics, veterinary
That
science,
is my face, this one.
the cat faces, and also some really serious warnings from conservation groups like Wildlife SOS.
So it's a mix of the commercial, the scientific, and, the ethical.
Oh.
And I think the mission today is to figure out, are these algorithms bringing us closer to the animal kingdom, or are they severing that connection entirely?
Let's start with the real animals, because if you're a pet owner, and I know a lot of our listeners are, the landscape is changing so fast. We're seeing this massive boom in what they're calling AI pet care.
We really are. And just to give you a sense of the scale, the global AI pet care market is projected to hit something like $2.36 billion by 2027.
Wow.
So this isn't a niche thing for tech geeks anymore. The data shows about 65% of pet owners are now actively interested in this AI-driven health monitoring.
That shift from novelty to necessity is interesting because a few years ago, a smart pet device was basically a webcam so you could watch your dog sleep.
Right, that was Gen 1, passive observation.
Right.
But look at how it's evolved. Sales of AI-enabled pet cameras with motion detection jumped 70% in 2022. But the key word there is detection.
They're not just lenses anymore.
No, they are analyzing. They're tracking movement patterns, building a profile of your pet's typical day.
So if a dog usually naps at 2, but today he's like pacing back and forth, the camera flags it.
Exactly. It establishes a baseline of what's normal, and it alerts you to deviations. And it's not just cameras. The source material on specialized feeders was wild. 42% of owners now prefer AI feeders.
Okay, but the one that really got me was the litter boxes.
Ah, the smart litter market.
I saw that. Projected to be a $300 million market by 2025. I have to play devil's advocate here a little.
Yeah.
Do we really need Wi-Fi in a litter box, or is this just Silicon Valley trying to monetize a chore?
It sounds funny, I know, and expensive.
Yeah.
But if you think about it from a vet's perspective, waste is one of the first and most reliable indicators of health.
Right.
Animals in the wild, they hide illness. It's a survival instinct. By the time a cat looks sick to you, they have often been sick for a long time.
So the box is like an early warning system.
Precisely. Some of these high-end AI models, they monitor frequency, volume, even the chemical composition of the waste.
No way.
Yeah. If the pH balance shifts, you get a notification. You're getting medical data that a human just. You can't get that by scooping a box.
That lines up with the stats here. 78% of owners see AI as effective for detecting early signs of illness. So it's less about laziness.
And more about preventative care.
Right.
Right. And then you have the behavioral side. The data shows AI use for detecting behavioral issues is up 40% in just 3 years.
And is that for things like separation anxiety?
That's a huge part of it. 74% of owners believe this tech helps reduce their pet's anxiety. The AI monitors sleep patterns. It identifies triggers.
How so?
Well, if the algorithm notices your dog's heart rate spikes, or they start pacing when, I don't know, the mail carrier arrives,
It can trigger something.
it can trigger automated soothing mechanisms like playing some music or dispensing a treat. It provides a level of constant observation that we, as people with jobs, just can't provide.
Mm.
We are essentially outsourcing the pet whisperer role to an algorithm.
Okay, so we have these machines watching our pets, learning their habits, telling us when they're sick. But I want to drill down on the how. Because it's one thing to say the AI knows your cat is in pain, but how does it actually know? Cats are, as we said, notoriously stoic.
They are. And this brings us to one of the most fascinating pieces of research in our stack today. It's a study from Frontiers in Veterinary Science. The title's a mouthful.
I saw it, yeah. Automated landmark-based cat facial analysis.
That's the one. But the implications are just wild.
This is where it gets really sci-fi. They aren't just looking at the cat, they're mapping it.
Precisely. The researchers use what they call a 48 landmark scheme. Imagine laying a geometric mesh over a cat's face. They map specific points on the ears, the eyes, cheeks, mouth, nose, and they're measuring the distances and angles between these points to detect what they call microexpressions.
And this is all to detect pain.
Yes. In veterinary science, there's a thing called a Grimace Scale. It's how vets manually rate pain based on facial tension. But humans are subjective, right? We project our own feelings.
The AI is objective.
The AI is objective. It's looking for these tiny, subtle shifts. The ears rotating slightly outward, the eyes squinting just a fraction, the whiskers moving from curved to straight.
So to an untrained human eye, the cat just looks like it's resting. But to the algorithm measuring the geometry of the face, the signal is loud and clear. I am hurting.
That's it. But here's where the study hit a fascinating wall, and I loved this part because it shows you how messy biology is. Not all cats look the same.
Right. The challenge of morphology.
Exactly. Morphology just means the shape of the animal. In the cat world, you have three main head shapes. You have dolichocephalic,
The long heads, like a Siamese.
long heads. Then you have your standard cat shape. And then you have the troublemakers for AI, the brachycephalic cats.
The flat faces, like Persians.
Exactly. Persians, exotic short hairs, their faces are, biologically squashed.
So logically, if the AI is looking for a squinty eye or a flattened nose as a sign of pain, a Persian cat just looks like that all the time.
That is the resting grump face problem. The study found the error rate for pain detection was way higher for breeds like the Persian because their baseline anatomy just mimics the expressions of pain in other breeds. A machine might look at a perfectly happy Persian and think, this animal is in agony.
That seems like a pretty huge hurdle if we're going to rely on this. You don't want your smart camera rushing you to the ER just because your cat has a flat face.
It is a hurdle, but the study showed they're solving it. By replacing manual annotation, which, by the way, takes a human expert 5.5 minutes per single image, with these AI pipelines, they are teaching the system to distinguish between breed shape and expression.
And what was the accuracy?
They got to about 75% accuracy in just distinguishing the head shapes and 66% in actual pain recognition across all these different breeds.
66% doesn't sound perfect, but for a first-gen tech, dealing with that much biological noise.
It's a massive step forward. Remember, this is detecting pain in a species that is evolutionarily designed to hide it. The AI is learning to see through the noise of the breed to find the actual biological signal.
Okay, so that's the benevolent side. We're using AI to map the real geometry of cats to help them, but now I want to flip the script. Let's talk about using geometry to create animals that don't exist at all.
The other side of the coin.
We've got this research from UC San Diego and Microsoft Research on rendering fur. And apparently fur has historically been like the final boss of computer graphics. Why is it so hard to make a fake dog look real?
It all comes down to light physics. For a long, long time, computer models just treated fur like it was made of tiny plastic tubes.
So light would just hit the fiber and bounce off the surface.
Exactly. But that's not what happens with real fur at all. Real fur is translucent.
Right.
I mean, think about when you hold a flashlight up to your hand. Your fingers glow red, right?
Yeah.
That's called subsurface scattering. Light enters the material, bounces around inside it, scatters, and then exits at a different point. Fur does the same thing. And real fur has this complex internal structure. It has a medulla, a central cylinder inside the fiber, that scatters light in very specific ways.
And the old models were just ignoring that whole internal structure.
They were ignoring the medulla completely, just calculating surface reflection. That's why old CGI animals often look like they had wire brushes for coats. They were too hard, too shiny.
They lacked that softness.
That's it. So the breakthrough in this new research is they're actually simulating the inside of the hair strand. They're modeling the path of light through the fibers, including that central cylinder,
And doing it fast.
and doing it really fast, using neural networks. It used to take hours to render a single frame of realistic fur. Now they're getting close to real time.
Which brings us to video, because a still image of a fluffy dog is one thing. Making it move is another. We looked at this paper called Stitch It in Time, which it sounds like a sewing blog, but it's about deep faking video.
This is a really critical development. Historically, if you tried to use AI to edit a video, say to turn a real dog into a different breed, you got this horrible jitter.
The flickering effect.
Right. Because the AI was generating each frame on its own. Frame 1 looked good, but frame 2 looked a little different, and by frame 3, the textures are sort of swimming around. It just breaks the illusion immediately.
Yeah.
No temporal consistency.
So Stitch It in Time fixes that timeline problem.
Exactly. It introduces a method for semantic editing on real videos while keeping them totally smooth. They train a generator on a huge data set of animal faces, and they can take a video of a dog and literally just edit its appearance while locking the motion in place.
So I could take a video of my dog barking and just dial a knob and turn him into a wolf. Or a cat. Or a bear.
In theory, yes. And the result doesn't have that flickering, uncanny valley feel. It looks like a high-quality, continuous video.
That is incredible technology, but I have to admit, it also sends a chill down my spine. Because if we can generate hyper-realistic fur, and we can edit videos to make animals do things they're not doing, we are entering some really dangerous territory.
And this is where we have to pivot to the warnings coming from organizations like Wildlife SOS, because this tech isn't just for fun filters or Hollywood movies. It's being weaponized for clicks.
The deep fake wildlife trend, I hadn't really considered this until I read the report. We're seeing these rescue videos pop up that are just completely fabricated.
It's a really dark side of the creator economy. Content farms are using AI to generate videos of animals in distress. So imagine video of a leopard stuck in a well or a puppy trapped in razor wire.
But the animal isn't really there.
The animal might not exist at all. Or they take real footage and manipulate it to look more dramatic, or they create a completely fake rescue narrative around it.
So they generate a video of a suffering animal and then ask for donations.
Sometimes. But often it's just about getting sympathy clicks, likes, and shares, which monetizes the channel. The broader damage, though, according to Wildlife SOS, is to the credibility of real conservation work.
Because if people start assuming these videos are fake, they stop trusting the real ones.
Exactly. Real organizations like Wildlife SOS are actually out there pulling leopards out of wells. It's dangerous, difficult, messy work. If the public gets flooded with these slick AI-generated rescue clips, two things happen. One, the bar for drama gets raised to an insane level.
And two,
cynicism sets in. People see a genuine plea for help and just scroll past it thinking, oh, that's just another AI fake.
It erodes the emotional connection. It's like the boy who cried wolf, but the wolf is digital.
It erodes trust. And trust is the absolute currency of conservation. Without it, the funding just dries up.
And looking at the stats from ArtSmart.ai again, this problem is going to compound itself. 5.17 billion social media users, and 80% of content recommendations are powered by AI.
That's the feedback loop right there. The algorithms want engagement. These fake rescue videos, or even just impossibly cute AI animals, get high engagement because they are engineered to be super stimuli.
So the recommendation AI pushes more of the generative AI content to the top of our feeds.
It's machines feeding machines, and we're just the eyeballs in the middle.
You know, it's interesting. There's a stat here that 62% of marketers believe mandatory labeling of AI content would actually be a good thing.
Even the people selling this stuff realize that without transparency, the whole ecosystem collapses. If you don't know what's real, you eventually stop caring about everything.
That's the real danger, isn't it? It's not just about being fooled, it's about becoming numb.
Precisely. If I show you a video of a polar bear on a melting ice floe, that image has power because it represents a reality we need to address. If that polar bear is just pixels rendered with perfect subsurface scattering, it might look sad, it might look beautiful, but it demands nothing of us. It's just art. It loses its moral weight.
It really makes you look at the digital zoo concept differently. On one side, we have these incredible AI vets effectively reading our pets' minds to heal them.
Using geometry to see pain we can't.
Right. And on the other, this flood of synthetic creatures threatening to sever our connection to the actual natural world.
It's the classic dual-use dilemma of any powerful technology, isn't it? The same algorithms that can analyze a cat's face to save it can be used to generate a deep fake, that exploits our empathy.
So what does this all mean for us? For you, the listener, scrolling through your feed tonight?
I think it means we have to become active rather than passive
Yeah.
consumers of this content. We have to look for the source. We have to be skeptical of the too perfect image. But maybe more importantly, I think we need to start valuing the imperfections.
The imperfections.
Yeah. Real animals are messy. They have bad lighting. Their fur isn't always perfectly groomed. Real rescues are chaotic and often, grainy. As AI gets better and better at perfection, reality's hallmark might just become its flaws.
That is a really profound thought. The realness of a living, breathing, imperfect pet could become the ultimate luxury in a world of perfect pixels.
I think that's exactly where we're heading.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought that sort of builds on what you just said. If an AI can eventually detect your cat's pain better than you can, and the data suggests it will, and if an AI can generate a video of a dog that is cuter and better behaved than any real one could ever be, will our connection to animals become more clinical and less emotional?
That is the big question. Do we love them for what they are or for how they make us feel? AI is going to test that distinction very, very strictly in the coming years.
It certainly is. Next time you look at your pet, take a closer look. Check out the fur, the weird expression, the mess they just made on the floor. It's annoying, but it's real. And next time you're scrolling, maybe take an extra second to ask, is anyone home behind those eyes?
Always ask.
Thanks for diving in with us today.
A pleasure, as always.